I gotta stop calling these, because whenever I lifted the Planet Fitness, I usually just add Planet Fitness to the title, just because even though I've done a lot of lifts at the Planet Fitness, some people are still surprised. So that's kind of me in like a algorithm sort of way, like, oh, he's at Planet Fitness, but it's just a regular lift like normal, you know, like unless your gym is so sparse that you're fucking, you know, you've only got a couple of dumbbells in a pile, not even on a rack, you got enough for a fucking solid lift, man. You can build a solid physique with just a couple of free weights, you know, a rack, a barbell, a bench, and like a pull-up bar. If all I had at my disposal was my home gym, which is a rack, 400 pounds of weights, dumbbells up to like 65s, and an overhead cable. So I mean like a cable that's above head level, so I can do like push downs and pull downs, and some, you know, rear delt stuff a little. Yeah, I think I'd be pretty big. I don't think that's the best case scenario. I do think there's a point which you should have specifically, well, utilized equipment. You know, I'm talking your fucking machine rows, pull downs, pullovers, cables, leg extensions, hamstring curls. But no matter what you have access to, use it to your fullest ability to get a good workout. And if you do for real, then you're probably gonna have a fucking good workout. You know, I couldn't tell you how many times I had to go to the hotel gym and all they had was like, you know, dumbbells up to 40s, and I had to do an arm day. Now if I had legs scheduled for that day, I would probably just save it for the next day when I could go to a real gym. But you get what I'm getting at, you know. Just fucking just make this shit happen. Right? Just make it happen. No matter what, where, when, why, or how, you're gonna get pumped. If you got that dog in your mentality, that is. You know, if your gym closes early on Sundays and you think to yourself, well, I usually lift at 8 p.m. I guess I'll skip the weekend. Ugh. Stay away from me. That's my thought process there. So, playing for back, we all know the deal. Rows, pull downs, pullovers, maybe a machine, maybe I'll do a fancy pants kind of cable setup with a bench. I mean, you know, it's back day is very it's not so methodical, you know, at least not for me. When I do legs is pretty routine. Like I hit legs pretty similarly every leg day. Hamstring curls first, pretty much just as many sets as necessary until my hamstrings are wrecked, you know, fully pumped, fully just destroyed, and then move on to quads, which the formula, at least my formula as of late, is like 2 sets of leg extensions, at least 1 baller set of squats, or if I decide I don't want to do too much loading, just move on to like some sissy squat drop sets and stuff. So, you know, a little leg extensions, some kind of other loading, be it Smith machine, barbell, maybe some leg press sometimes, machine hack squat, you know, set or 2, maybe 3 if I really like it, and then move on to leg extensions again with some supersets. So usually I have a pretty good idea about exactly how my leg day is going to look before I even go into the gym and do it. Same thing with chest, arms. Even though I move the exercises around, arms is still pretty classic. You know, I'm talking fucking push downs, dips, single arm extensions, curls, cable curls, preacher curls, dumbbell curls. They're all fucking curls at the end of the day. But back is kind of, you know, at least, well, I'm a little spoiled. I take this from my perspective, or no. Listen to this with this in mind. My back is a strong point for me. So it's not always your best move to listen to people about how they train their genetically strongest body part, because who's to say they really had to work for it? You know, some guys just have fucking genetically massive calves and they've never done calf raises in their life. You know, so some people have some ease, some muscles easier than others. But for me, back is kind of a strong point. But I've always kind of trained it just, kind of however. In terms of the exercise or like the order which I go at it. I could start with heavy pull downs, or, I could say, all right, I want to start with some rows today. Some days I start with light pullovers, and that's like a completely opposite approach than normal for me. So whether I start with a heavy set of pull downs or a moderate weight and I can actually really squeeze it, because you can do a set of pull downs where it's so heavy that you can't really pause it at the bottom. You pull it down and then it kind of immediately goes back up. And those are more, brutish reps. But I could do a set like that. I could do one with a little moderate weight where I'm not muscling it so hard and I can really focus on squeezing. Or I can do much lighter weight, like a weight which is well within reason. Like if I were just trying to throw reps around, I could throw around like 30. But really hold it at the bottom. And then make the set a little bit more difficult by doing just a little more of a pre-thought tempo with the reps. But all I'm trying to say there is when I do back, I really just, in my mind, I've got about 7 or 8 sets, the likes of which I want to hit my whole back pretty evenly. Some days I might do more lats, some days I might do more traps. It just kind of depends. But usually it's pretty even. And in those 8-ish sets, I want to make them as hard as I can, and maybe do some drop sets too. So if you were to ask me for a good back workout, I would tell you do 2 sets of really heavy pull downs, followed by 2 sets of seated cable rows, wide neutral grip with a weight where you can really squeeze it and hold it for a second. Do maybe 15 reps or so, and then maybe 2 sets of pullovers followed by another 2 sets of pull downs. If you did that and you made every set hard, yeah, you're gonna have a fucking fully pumped back. I can almost fucking guarantee it. So back is not rocket science, unless you have a weak back in which you probably need to put more effort into it and really try to find what works to fucking stimulate it. And that's on you. That's not I can't tell you exactly what movement is going to feel best. When I go into the gym, literally today in a few minutes, I'm going to go up, put my shit in the locker room, take a sip of water, go out to the cables, start warming up a little bit, get my shoulders going, make sure my forearms are warmish. I still use straps, but they are going to come into play. And in the process of doing my little warm up of like cable pullovers and light rows and a little bit of cable shrugs, I'll kind of get a little bit of some kind of like sixth sense feeling where I say, okay, based on everything that I've felt in this process of warming up, I want to do seated cable rows. And then I start with, and that's not specific, that's not scientific, that's just seated cable rows are going to feel pretty good. I'll do 2 sets-ish. Oh wow, these feel really good. I guess I'll do 4 sets. It's just stuff like that. As long as you finish your workout fatigued and pumped within a reasonable amount of sets, I'm talking maybe 8 really hard sets, I don't think you'll ever go wrong with. I think that's definitely within the range of progressive, what am I saying? The range of hypertrophy. If I came in to do 100 sets of back, I don't think I would grow. I think it'd be too much stress. And if I did 0 sets of back, I also don't think I'd grow. There'd be 0 stress. So somewhere in the middle is where the sweet spot is. And by the time I've done 8-ish, I feel fatigued. I feel pumped. I think I've done enough. But that's from, 5 years of doing some workouts of 25 sets, some workouts of like only 4 sets, a ton of workouts of like 11 sets. It's, saying these specific numbers and looking to an influencer or like a coach. Oh, a coach is a little bit different. They're focused a little more on you specifically if you've got a coach. But there's no magic number. And that kind of sucks for the uninitiated, because I mean, if you were to say, Sam, you're coming with me to a boxing class, I, I'm probably gonna look up fucking like boxing drills and boxing basics because I don't want to feel like I don't know what I'm doing when I go to the gym. Right? That's a terrible feeling. Going anywhere, especially places where you may be a little bit uncomfortable with the space and you're not really used to it and you're still kind of nervous, the feeling of not knowing what you're doing, I mean, just the potential of that, I feel like that keeps so many people out of the gym because they don't want to go in and like, uh, well, now they're like, oh, I don't want to go get mogged by all these fucking lifter sigmas. You know, I'll stay home and fucking, you know, League of Legends, you get what I'm saying, you know. But that period of time before you kind of get a hold of what you're doing, it doesn't last long. I'll say that. You'll get the hang of this shit reasonably quick. And nobody really gives a shit anyway. You gotta, look, not to hate on anyone specifically, but if you've never gone to the gym and you're a little bit nervous about it, or maybe you've just been doing home workouts because you don't want to like, you know, feel like a dork or whatever, or you think that people are going to be watching you, you're a little anxious, just look up gym fails. And I don't mean like squatting and like getting smushed under the weight. I mean like just the clips of just people looking kind of goofy in the gym. I guarantee you're not going to be like that, you know. So if that's you, if anxiety is blocking you from the gym, I'm not a therapist or a psychologist, so I can't tell you the exact answer on how to approach it. But the quicker you get in there, the better. And I say that with 100% certainty. And fuck, man, if you've never done it, or if you know somebody who's never gone to the gym before, but they're kind of interested, let's say, now I'm kind of putting you on a mission. If you have a buddy who's like a little interested in the gym, like you're always, you know, a couple of guys in your friend group lift, but he doesn't yet, just have him come in and like just do cardio and kind of just watch, get a feeling for the space. And then, honestly, the first day that you bring somebody in to do cardio, if they're a little nervous about the weights, I almost guarantee they're just going to come fucking do some pushdowns with you. So, that's all in your head. Or that's all in their head. I assume if you're watching this, you already lift. You already know what you're doing. But, Planet Fitness, I foresee that within the next 45 minutes, my back will be pumped to shit, and I'll have a smile on my face from ear to ear. The stack plus a 25-pound plate, that's about right. Just heavy enough to stimulate some growth. Or some muscle maintenance, that is. Okay. All right. Let's lose the 25. All right. This will be a good one. Yeah. 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 All right, now give me some help. Oh yeah, just like that. Oh, 3 more. All right, let go. Yeah. That's perfect. One more? Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. 3 more. One more. Oh, that's perfect. Highly lat biased pull downs to only
slightly lat bias rows. I mean, in any movement, unless you're doing a real upright kind of shrugging action, your lats will get activated, which shouldn't be a surprise. Your lats are the fucking biggest driver of pulling in your whole fucking back. But I mean, this isn't even a but. After doing a few sets of direct lat work, pulling down, I want to do some sets where I'm getting a little bit more mid traps, touch of rhomboids, teres major, rear delts, and kind of focus on up here instead of, down here. So if you're curious about what I think of, or what anybody who knows what they're doing thinks about when they're doing rowing movements, when you have your elbows low and tucked in, even if I was doing the same straight bar, if I was doing them down here, that's a lot of lats. Because you get like just isolate my shoulder joint. All I'm doing is here. Now, since my arms are pulling this handle, it looks like this. But as far as my upper arm knows, it's just going like this, like a fucking pullover. Whereas when I kind of widen my elbows upwards, flare them out a little, and kind of pull up towards my nipple height instead of belly button, that was going to be much more mid-back traps, etc. But no need to discuss it any further. Let's just hit it. Okay. Let's make that a drop set. Bit more of a controlled set here, but felt pretty fucking good. One more. Let's stack this thing. This set will be a little nastier. Okay, let's do a drop set. Real wide. Okay, let's do something to be determined. Plan is long D-handle rows, sort of in a kind of half row, half pull down style. So it's this setup, bench on like the 45-ish, cable there, yay distance apart. And here's what I'm thinking. And I would recommend you try this. I'm not usually one to like make fancy exercise setups because I think for the most part it's not necessary, but I really like this one, especially towards the end of back, because I'm kind of getting a best of both worlds between a pull down and a row. Because the way I'm doing this shit, and I did not come up with this or anything, I just saw somebody do it and I liked it. But lean forward in the stretch position, lats getting fucking, try to pull off your fucking bones. And then as you row, don't just stay here, lean back into it and almost try to flex your upper back at the bottom. So kind of getting lats going, mid back going. I guess if you wanted, you could just sit here and do all lats. That'd be fine too. I mean, fuck man. If you feel it, then it's doing something. But I think 2 here and then maybe something else. But if I think I'm fully pumped and fatigued after these 2, that'll be the end of it. Fuck.
Okay. Okay.
One more set of something, and then I think we're done. So following suit of what I was kind of saying on that last 2 reps or 2 sets, usually that's my finisher because I like doing a movement where I pretty much pump my whole back up at once, which that one does. Big stretch of my lats, squeeze into mid back. I mean, my whole back is fucking pumped, but not all the way. I'm not fully pumped yet. So I'm going to do a finishing superset. Narrower, well, shoulder width, but like that narrow rows, you know, failure-ish. It's the first set. All I'm trying to do is really pump up my mid back and then jump on the pull down and burn out over there with lighter weight than I was doing at the beginning. But let's hit these last 2 combo sets and get out of here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And check the pump. Come on. I'm really going to try to squeeze on these ones, though.
Okay.
Extra wide.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Back. Complete. Let's roll. All right. Exposure. Reasonably fucking freaky. Let's just run through some lat spreads, double buys, and say my goodbyes. Get in the car and eat something. So, less than fortunately for me, after those 3 sets of pull downs, nature called. And I fucking hate taking the mid-lift dump. I mean, it totally gets you out of the zone. I'm just glad I did it early enough. Because, I mean, you do have to come to a decision. Like, do you try to wait until the end of your lift and you kind of just like constantly fucking uncomfortable? Or do you stop the lift? You know, you lose a little bit of pump. Greater minds than mine have suffered with that problem as well. But I feel decently pumped. Let's see if I can poke the lats out through the tank. I mean, you tell me. Those are certainly getting somewhere. Okay. Pumped. Let's roll. And that's what I call a back day. Not like
Yeah, well, even if I have an off day, right now in my training, I'm not too concerned. Now, today was a good day, but what I'm getting at, what I'm getting at is, I'm dieting right now. You know, I'm not trying to build any muscle. I couldn't if I tried, because, you know, I'm in a calorie deficit. I'm losing body fat. I don't have the energy to, or I mean, literally not even the calories to facilitate, you know, fucking muscle growth. But what I do have the calories for is muscle maintenance. So the whole point of these workouts for me right now is to stimulate the contractile tissue I've got on my body, aka get a fucking awesome back pump, and then, you know, combining that with a calorie deficit and my normal protein intake, I'm gonna maintain the majority of my muscle while losing body fat over time. You know, so right now these workouts aren't really, they're not doing anything in a way. They're preventing me from losing muscle and, you know, shrinking, and they're maintaining my strength. But that's partially why when I diet down, it's not so, like, just the state of dieting, it's not so hype for me. You know, I'm not so fired up because I'm not making what I would call really tangible direct process. I am making indirect process, tangible progress. I am making indirect progress because in order for me to do a nice, hard, weight-gaining bulk in the next month and a half-ish, I need to, you know, reset my appetite, get my insulin sensitivity back in functioning order, in a sense. Not that it's dysfunctional, you know, not diabetic, of course, but you need a break from the bulk. And if I want to put on a lot of weight without being too, you know, far gone into the body fat range, then the leaner you can start a bulk, the better. And that's in kind of a semi-advanced lifter context. Main gaining is fucking baller 0 through 3 years of lifting, I would say. I think you can main gain and make steady progress for easily 2 years. Now, after that, it does begin to slow down, you know, and that's where I think proper bulks may have a bit more of a place, because you'll be able to, I mean, put yourself in a position where you're actually gaining more fucking muscle tissue. Now, that's combined with fat. There's no way to gain muscle without putting on any fat, at least not fucking for any long period. So that's kind of the nature of it. You bulk up, you gain muscle and fat, and then you diet. You try to burn off the fat that you put on and hold on to as much muscle as you built. That's my plan. And not my plan, you know, what I've done for like the last fucking almost 2.5 years. And it seems to be working reasonably fucking well. But all I'm trying to say there is these workouts are only to maintain my build, you know, keep my size and strength. And then once I start, you know, eating in a calorie surplus, once I'm actually eating enough to facilitate fucking muscle growth, that's when I'll really be fucking growing. And that really gets me fucking fired up and excited, because I know that I'm legitimately making gains. So that's kind of where my headspace is. You know, I love being lean. I love being diced. It is fucking cool. I feel light on my feet. You know, I'm much more agile. I could probably do a fucking backflip right now and be fine. But anyone who has that itch, who has that, you know, short circuit in their mind to the point where they want to be a massive ass freak, they know that gaining the weight, that's the fun part. Gaining the size is the fun part. Showing it off is cool, but gaining it is where you're really fucking internally satisfied in a way, you know. But that's just a little insight into my own fucking mind. If you love being lean, then I guess that sucks for you to bulk up, because, well, dieting, if dieting doesn't come easy to you, it kind of sucks. And bulking up, when bulking doesn't come easy to you, also sucks. So I'm lucky enough to be kind of right in the middle, to the point where I can bulk pretty hard and I can cut pretty hard without insane difficulty on either side of the spectrum. I was just saying this in the car yesterday. You know, if you're the type of guy who is prone to, you know, like, oh, I just can't gain any weight. You're speaking, I know what you mean, but you're speaking the wrong language. What you mean to say is I can't eat any food. And the sooner that you can realize that that's the case and that you're not just some genetic anomaly, the better, right? Because a lot of lifters still cannot, as much as everyone, I feel like everyone is fucking talking about it. The consensus is finally approaching reality, where we know that the limiting factor of your size is the amount of food that you're eating. And if you're plateaued, food is the key. Food is the key. So that's up to you to actually employ and take action with. So if you're not gaining any weight, then look, man, it's not that hard to eat 2 spicy chicken sandwiches from Wendy's. That's 1,000 calories right there. Boom, 2 sandwiches. It's not that hard to eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's. Boom, 1,200 calories. It's not that hard to eat a bag of fruit snacks. Boom, 400 calories. Now, those are not necessarily like typical bodybuilding foods, but in the context of weight gain and weight loss, if you've got a problem eating already, then you're definitely not going to have much fun trying to just bulk on, you know, chicken and rice. And, you know, I know it's probably not the healthiest method to have treats and to eat ice cream and have a fucking ice cream sandwich on not that rare of an occasion with my steaks and whatever to bulk up. But it's within a fucking, you know, margin of, let's call it, stress that you can fucking handle, especially with training and consistent cardio. I guess I never really bring this point up. I probably should. It's actually, in an argumentative sense, it's actually a good debate point. If you do cardio on a consistent basis, you get to eat more good foods. And by good, I mean, like, you know, satisfying foods. Because you get to eat more calories every day. Because you get to be more active, you know? If I take a dude who does nothing all day, and he sits at his desk, you know, he goes to school, he goes to work, he does whatever, he's not active for shit. And I fed him, like, what would be something like my kind of diet. You know, tons of steaks, but sweets and like fruit snacks and, you know, some processed sugars and whatever else. Yeah, that's probably not going to be good for him. You know, if you're not burning off the sugars and the carbs and the energy and the calories that you're taking in, then yeah, no shit, it's going to fucking immediately get deposited as fat. Your insulin sensitivity is going to go to absolute hell. And let's just say you're not going to have a very good time. And you're not going to look very fucking good. But do not underestimate the power of just being fucking active. You know? You were eating whatever the fuck you wanted in high school. I'm talking the older guys now. You were eating whatever the fuck you wanted. Now, part of that is because you're younger, you're still growing in a little bit, so a lot of the energy that you're eating is being used to kind of finish off developing your fucking body. That's why, you know, kids get away with eating more junk food and whatever else, because they're literally constantly in a growing state. But a big part of that is also you were fucking way more active in high school. I guarantee it. You were doing fucking 2-a-days. You were wrestling. You were playing lacrosse. You were playing baseball. I mean, those are kind of the top sports I would assume that any older characters in here were playing in high school. So you don't think that that had an effect on your metabolism? You don't think that that had an effect on your fucking calorie output? Because it fucking did. So if you go from that to now, you know, let's say you're adulting hard, you pumped out some kids, and you're not moving around that much. And I know I'm not speaking from experience. I'm like a fucking pretentious 22-year-old, but you are going to have a better time just, you know, maintaining a solid build as an older dude if you combine your reasonably frequent weight training with 30 minutes of daily cardio. I guarantee it. You know, it's not even a question. And we all know this. This is basic. If you're active every day, you're going to have a better time. You're going to be able to eat more foods. You're just going to have a better metabolism because you're burning through more calories every day. You're just going to be in better shape. There's no downside. There's no downside apart from having to do it. And it's becoming much more easy for me now. You know, don't think that I haven't realized the fact that like this is going to be a big part of the rest of my next few years, is being able to kind of just focus on the workouts and the cardio. And I mean, I'm so spoiled now. I get to really lock in and focus on bodybuilding, which I mean for me is totally incredible. So do not think that I think it's easy to throw cardio and a gym session in a real life working man's routine, right? I know it's a fucking hassle, but what I'm trying to say is it will pay off, right? That's what I'm trying to say there. And it's not like I haven't done it before. Of course, not for like, 15 years like you guys, but I've had some solid construction city work summers. I'm talking 6:30 to 2:30. Insane respect. This is a little shout out to any garbage men out there. And I'm not talking about the guys driving the truck. I'm talking about the dudes hanging off the back, having to pick up yard waste manually. I volunteered once. So I worked for the city, and on the weekends, sometimes you could get overtime by, helping out the trash department. And you hang off the trash truck for 5 hours, and you pick up yard waste. You throw it in the compactor. Guys who are doing that day in, day out, that is fucking hard. But if that's you, and you do have a seriously laborious job, that counts as your cardio. Yeah, I count that. If you're actually expending energy throughout the day, yeah, man, that counts. Be it from basketball or just getting your 20,000 steps or whatever else. But my main point that I'm trying to say is you're going to have a better time in life being reasonably to highly active. So that's all I'm trying to say there. So looping back to what I was saying in the car, if you've got a brother or a sibling or whatever else and they're not working out, if you can get them to the gym even just a couple times this month, and if a few thousand people can do that, that is a noticeable change in the world, which that'd be pretty cool. I mean, the more people in the gym, the better. I've said this before. More money for gyms, better equipment, bigger gyms because they're going to have to facilitate more patrons. I mean, it's just a fucking upward spiral from there. So that's the end of my little Michelle Obama get 1 hour of play rant, which is, I don't know why I get so fired up about that, but whatever. Back done, back pumped. I'm ready to eat some food, shower off, and probably stink, and then repeat it all again tomorrow. So I'll see you then.